What an honor it is to be asked to introduce our newest member of the Career Tech Foundation. Did y'all see those pictures before this thing started? I mean, if you've been around this place any time at all, the names, the faces of some of those old timers. J.W. Weatherford, I see you in the audience. And, Gus Friedemann, Tom, I was there the night that he was inducted into this fine hall. I think about R.L. Beatty and our state directors that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, Governors Nye and Bartlett. Did you hear those names? Do you know what those people represent? Any Oklahoman that's inducted into this hall is truly blessed and has truly paid a dear price with their career in technology education in Oklahoma. Mr. Elmer L. Tex Williamson, my good friend from Southeast Oklahoma, is our newest inductee into the Oklahoma Career Tech Hall of Fame. Tex was born in Tahona Mining Camp. Y'all didn't know we had mining camps in Oklahoma. We don't anymore. Tex was born at the Tahona Mining Camp back years and years ago. His father was a coal miner down there. Tex graduated from high school in Panama and headed to the big city, the bright lights of Oklahoma City, to pursue a career baking bread for the Bond Bread Company. Y'all remember them? I'm not old enough, Ann. How about you? Served our country for 3 years during the Vietnam era. Came home, returned to the Bond Bread Company in Oklahoma City, and figured out that baking bread wasn't for him, so he used his GI Bill, went to Northeastern Oklahoma State College back then in Tahlequah to pursue his college degree. Prior to actual graduation date, Tex was hired as a counselor at the Washita, or back then probably called the Hodgen Inmate Training Center outside of Hodgen, Oklahoma, down in the Washita Mountains in southeast Oklahoma. For 31 years, Tex Williamson went in and out of prison every day to do his job. Tex was a counselor to the offenders who were being trained by Career Tech at what later became known as the Jim E. Hamilton Skill Center at the Jim E. Hamilton Correctional Facility in LaFleur County. Tex, while he was going to college, he was actually a coal miner, weren't you, Tex? You bet. I'd bet he's the only one of those we got working for us. Tex spent 23 years working directly with the offenders. For about 1,000 weeks in a row, honestly, for about 1,000 weeks in a row, Tex Williamson went to orientation meetings for the new offenders who were coming to the correctional center there. His job was to represent Career Tech and try to recruit appropriate students who could benefit from the training that we gave there at that site. Over the course of that 23 years that he did that job, we graduated over 3,500 inmates, Senator, who are now productive citizens in our fair state. They were trained, sent to the streets to take care of their family. In 1998, I asked Tex to take on the role as a student services specialist for the state of Oklahoma, our entire Skill Center school system. Over the next 8 years until his retirement about a year ago, Tex headed up our career, our guidance and student services efforts throughout the state. Every state director of corrections knows who Tex Williamson is. Tex Williamson knows, and they know him, every case manager throughout the state, no matter what institution. He knew Department of Corrections policy better than they did. His departure for retirement was not welcome by any of us in the skill centers. Tex had a real passion for getting the right people into training. He didn't believe that we were just there for activity for the inmates. This was supposed to mean something. If you enrolled in Career Tech, in a training program. He expected you to come to class, to learn, and to do something with it when you left. On more than one occasion, on a trip down to Hamilton Skill Center, I'd sit in the manager's office and listen to Tex in the next office, counseling a young offender. Numerous times I heard Tex in there. It reminded me a lot of my younger days when my dad was alive and I had some chore that I was supposed to do and I was trying to find a way out of it. My dad would start off listening to me patiently, and he'd counsel me just a little bit, trying to get me to make the right decision. And as I persisted in getting my own way, my dad would make a little bit stronger suggestion to me that maybe I ought to rethink this idea. And if I persisted long enough, my dad would suggest strongly enough that I was pretty sure I was going to do it his way. Tex, in his counseling of the offenders, he believed these young men that enrolled in career tech training, they had a responsibility to their family to do something different with their life, and that career tech was their answer to being able to change the life for themselves and their family. He made it tough to get out of career tech. Skill Center school system, that branch of career tech that represents those sites inside the correctional facilities all across the state. We've never had anyone from our ranks, our field, inducted into this hall. To each of us in the skill centers, it's quite fitting that the first inductee from our field staff be Mr. Tex Williamson. Members of the Foundation Board, members of our State Career Tech Board, Career Tech educators, friends, and distinguished guests, I'm both honored and privileged to introduce to you my friend, Mr. Tex Williamson.
Good evening. I'm not going to stay long. I know it's been a long evening. Whew! It's a long way from Tahona, Oklahoma, in a 3-room shack to this. Thanks to the Foundation for recognizing me into the Hall of Fame. I don't know if this is something I really earned, but I enjoyed what I did. I always liked my job. I want to introduce my family because without my family, I wouldn't be here tonight either. My wife of 43 and a half years, Betty. My son, Michael, and my daughter-in-law, Jennifer. And my daughter, Jessica Beth. She gets 2 titles. And some very dear friends that came up, and I appreciate y'all coming. Thank you very much. And people that I worked with, staff. Without the support of those people, I wouldn't have been what I was either. I wouldn't have been able to do what I did because we all work together. You know, we are like family, especially in the skill centers. All of career tech is too. But in the skill centers, we had a special bond because of how we worked and where we worked, because we had to stand together. And without the support of those people, I wouldn't have been here tonight either, because you all work together. It takes everybody. You know, I think back on how I got into this and everything. It's amazing. You know, you talk about they saying, well, I'm a hero. I was never thought of as being a hero. In fact, my dad he made up a little song about me, and I think it made me even try harder and push harder. Because the song that my dad had made up about me was, Texaco Bill live under the hill, he won't work and he never will. And he had some other things to go along with it. Made me so mad that I was determined to work. I would do something. So, on the way up here this evening, I was trying to get my son to ride up with us. So I said, we can ride together, and then that way we can get back about the same. He said, well, I need to get back earlier. Well, I found out what it really was, that why he didn't want to ride with me. He wanted to go buy a Bass Pro. He'd called back though, got a 4-year-old grandson, Colton Zachary, and they'd called back home, and Colton had told he's staying with his other grandpa, and he said, my mom and daddy went way off. Said they went way off. Said they went to steal water. Said they won't get in trouble, will they? He's 4 years old, and he thought that up on his own. Now he heard the word still water, and they went to steal water. It's been a journey. It really has. It's been a good journey. And I guess that's what life is. It's a journey. From our birth to our death. And all in between is a journey. And it's what you do within that journey that makes a difference. And I think what made my job so good and what I enjoyed about it was because I saw lives change. Because you do change lives. I was where the rubber meets the road. And you see those people finally get a grip on life and decide that they can do better, and that inspires you to go on and do the best you can. Because then you want to put forth your best effort to try to turn them around and turn more of them around. You're not going to turn them all around. Never can. That's just a fact of life. Some of them you're going to lose. I guess, and I didn't think I'd ever use the word incorrigible. But you try to encourage as many as you can, but some of them are incorrigible. And you can't change some of them. But that's life too. That's going to happen. But we changed a lot of lives in my field, and I think that there's still people out there still wanting to do that today. And that's what gives me hope for the future, is that we're to continue to do it, because we do make a difference in a lot of those people. You know, a lot of people think, well, the word inmate, that's a negative term. It is. It's a negative term, because you're having to punish some people for something they done wrong. But you can help change that life and make it worthwhile by giving some interest in them, teaching them something to do, and telling them that they can do a lot better with their lives. Used to have 3 words that I used to live by, and I was taught these words and this goal and objective to do with people by a good friend and mentor, M.L. Owens. He said, always be firm, be fair, and above all, be consistent. You remember that, M.L.? Many times he said that. And that's true with inmates especially. Be firm, be fair, and be consistent, and you'll work with them. You'll do well with them. This is a great honor for me, and I appreciate it. You know, I'm at a point in my life, I guess, when once you're retired, it doesn't, I guess it's not the epitome of your life, but it is great to be recognized for what you have done. And I do appreciate it, and I thank you very much.